All right, folks, welcome back. Buckle up because we've got a ton to unpack today about HBO's Harry Potter reboot. We've got a brand new HogwartsExpress showing up, a leaked set video showing a scene the movies completely skipped, royal family set visits, the J.K. Rowling versus Emma Watson feud, and the never-ending fan dream of Ben Barnes as Sirius Black. Stick around, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you want all the updates faster than Hedwig on an urgent delivery. Let's go. So let's kick things off with the HogwartsExpress leak, because this one really split the fandom. Photos surfaced of the train being hauled onto the set, and it looks almost identical to the version from the early 2000s films. Same bright red paint job, same classic steam engine vibe, same aura of all aboard, magic kids. Now for a lot of fans, that's great. The HogwartsExpress is sacred. It's like the beating heart of the Wizarding World's school year. It's the first real magical object Harry encounters in his journey, and it's been a visual icon for decades. Change it too much and people would riot. Imagine if they rolled out some sleek, futuristic bullet train covered in floating runes. People would lose their minds. But here's the thing. Other fans were quick to call HBO out for playing it safe. The big question has been, what's the point of a reboot if everything looks the same? People expected the series to lean into the differences from the movies, the things that make the books richer. But the leaked train photos sent a message that maybe this won't be as bold as some hoped. One fan on X summed it up perfectly. So we're just getting the exact same train? Cool, I guess we're rewatching the movies but in slow motion now. Harsh, but that's the vibe in some corners. Here's my take. The HogwartsExpress doesn't need a redesign. Sure, you could slap some magical engravings on the carriages or make the smoke puff out in weird shapes, but does that really add anything? The train's importance isn't in its look. It's in the moments that happen on it. That's where the real storytelling potential is. Think about it. The films rushed through train scenes because of time limits. You got Harry meeting Ron, the trolley witch, saying, "Anything off the trolley, dears?" and the Malfoy intro. Boom. Next thing you know, we're at Hogwarts. But in the books, the train rides are way more detailed. You get students swapping chocolate frog cards, awkward first conversations, prefect patrols, and even a full-on Dementor attack later on. That's where the show can stand out. Even if the train looks the same, the reboot has space to expand those journeys. To show the HogwartsExpress as a microcosm of school life before anyone even sets foot in the castle. Imagine full episodes opening or closing on the train, building tension, friendships, or even rivalries. That's where HBO can flex its book accuracy muscles. So yeah, it looks the same, but the real difference will come from how they use it. If they let those rides breathe and give us the little details the movies cut, fans will stop worrying about the paint job pretty fast. Now this one is where HBO really shows they're going all in on book accuracy. A leaked video from Hertfordshire showed wizards celebrating in the streets after Voldemort's fall. The moment that kicks off Philosopher's Stone. You know the scene from the book. Owls flying in broad daylight, wizards hugging total strangers, even weird cloaked figures high-fiving on the sidewalks. It's surreal, it's joyful, and it shows just how massive Voldemort's defeat was for ordinary witches and wizards. But the movies skipped over all of that. Instead, we opened with Dumbledore, McGonagall, and Hagrid dropping baby Harry at the Dursleys' doorstep. Nice scene, sure, but it erased the sheer scale of the Wizarding World's relief. That's what makes this leak such a big deal. The show is fixing that omission, and the attention to detail is spot on. The costumes reportedly capture that wizards trying to blend in with muggles but failing miserably energy, with bright robes, clashing hats, and awkward handshakes. It's quirky, it's funny, but it also underscores how different this hidden world is from the everyday streets Vernon Dursley thinks are so normal. And here's where it gets even juicier. This scene directly ties into the one shot in Hoddesdon, Hertfordshire, where Vernon Dursley was filmed bumping into Daedalus Diggle. In the books, that's a classic early moment. Vernon notices all these weird people celebrating, and then Diggle literally bows to him in the street, leaving Vernon completely freaked out. The leaks show HBO shooting those sequences in the same location, which means we're not just getting background shots of owls flying around. We're actually getting the full Boy Who Lived chapter adapted for screen, detail by detail. That's something the films never even attempted. Fans have been buzzing about this because it proves HBO is serious about including the smaller book moments that give the world texture. It's not just about hitting the main beats anymore. They're showing us what it actually felt like for ordinary wizards to realize Voldemort was gone. That's world-building gold. And honestly, this scene could set the tone for the whole series. It says, we're not skipping. We're not trimming fat. We're giving you every detail you loved. That's huge for fans who grew up feeling like the films cut too much. So predictions? Expect this opening episode to feel very different from the 2001 movie. Instead of a quiet, mysterious night on Privet Drive, we'll probably get a contrast. The loud, colorful chaos of celebrating wizards, followed by the sharp pivot into Dumbledore and McGonagall's somber arrival. That emotional whiplash will make Harry's backstory hit even harder. And if they nail it, this could become one of those moments fans point to years later and say, yeah, that's when I knew the HBO series was doing the books justice. If you're loving these leaks so far, drop a like on the video and subscribe. It really helps out. Now let's talk about something that sounds like it came straight out of a parody headline. The British royals riding the HogwartsExpress. Yeah, that actually happened. Kate Middleton showed up with Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Little Prince Louis for a private visit to the set. And this wasn't just a quick handshake with the cast. The kids actually got to explore the Hogsmeade station set, and according to multiple reports, Louis even got to hop on the HogwartsExpress for a short ride. One insider described the whole thing as, "It was so special." Kate and the children met the young actors and the director on the set. There was only one night of filming there, so it really was a magical ticket. Let's be real. For a 7-year-old, that's insane. Forget Disneyland. You're literally boarding the HogwartsExpress in your own backyard while cameras roll. Because remember, the whole Hogsmeade station set was built in Windsor Great Park, basically around the corner from the Wales family home. The symbolism here is wild too. The royals have always been linked to Harry Potter in little ways. Remember back in 2013 when William, Kate, and even Prince Harry toured the Warner Brothers studio tour in Leavesden? Now, over a decade later, Kate's kids are stepping onto the new set of the reboot. It's like a generational passing of the torch. And the fandom reaction has been mixed, to say the least. Some fans think it's adorable, calling it a real-life fairy tale moment. Others see it as a distraction tactic, like HBO rolling out a royal photo op to give the reboot some positive buzz amid all the Rowling controversies. Personally, I think this was more about convenience than PR. If the HogwartsExpress literally pulls up a mile from your house and your kids are massive Potter fans, of course you're going to swing by. But the optics are still huge. The royal family putting their stamp of approval on the reboot. Whether intentional or not, that's free publicity that Warner Brothers couldn't have scripted better. Now on to the messier side of things. The ongoing feud between J.K. Rowling and Emma Watson. And wow, this one keeps escalating. So Emma went on Jay Shetty's podcast recently and talked about her relationship with Rowling. She didn't go in swinging. She wasn't dramatic. In fact, she sounded like she was trying to soften the tension. She said, "It's my deepest wish that I hope people who don't agree with my opinion will love me, and I hope I can keep loving people who I don't necessarily share the same opinion with." Sounds peaceful, right? Like she's basically saying, we disagree, but I don't hate you. But Rowling absolutely did not take it that way. She fired back on social media with one of the harshest lines yet. Emma has so little experience of real life, she's ignorant of how ignorant she is. Rowling went further, pointing out that Emma's never had to use public shelters or hospitals, never had to deal with mixed changing rooms, and basically accused her of being cushioned by wealth and fame. Then came the gut punch. I wasn't a multimillionaire at 14. I lived in poverty while writing the book that made Emma famous. That line spread across social media like wildfire. Some fans applauded Rowling for speaking her truth, But many more called it petty, unnecessary, and downright cruel. The optics of the author publicly blasting the actress who played Hermione, arguably the character most associated with brains, empathy, and resilience, are not great for the reboot's image. And then came another twist. Rowling revealed that Emma once sent her a handwritten note that said, "I'm so sorry for what you're going through," back when Rowling was facing intense backlash online. Instead of appreciating it, Rowling painted the gesture as hollow, saying Emma was fueling the outrage while pretending to be sympathetic. The fandom split here is brutal. On one side, you've got people saying Rowling is just burning bridges with the very actors who helped make Harry Potter a global phenomenon. On the other, some argue Emma and the other cast members publicly distanced themselves years ago, so Rowling is just finally saying what she thinks. But here's the kicker for the HBO reboot. This feud is overshadowing the actual production news. Every time new set photos leak, they get drowned out a day later by Rowling's latest comments. And whether you side with her or not, that's bad for a series trying to sell itself as a nostalgic but fresh take on the wizarding world. My prediction? This feud isn't going away anytime soon. The more Emma, or Daniel Radcliffe, talk about Rowling in interviews, the more she'll clap back. And by the time the series actually premieres, this could be a running subplot in the media coverage. The show itself versus the shadow of its creators' public battles. It's messy, it's divisive, but it's part of the Harry Potter conversation now, whether HBO likes it or not. All right, let's shift gears from drama to fandom dreams. Because for nearly 2 decades, one of the most persistent what-if conversations has been, what if Ben Barnes played Sirius Black? If you've been around Potter forums, Tumblr, or even early Instagram fancasts, you know this one. Since his days as Prince Caspian in Narnia, fans have been photoshopping Barnes with long, dark hair, posting edits of him as young Sirius, and basically treating him as the fan canon for the role. And the thing is, he knows it. At FanX Salt Lake Comic Convention, Barnes leaned into the joke and actually seemed flattered by it. Yes, this question is about a very sort of loving fan cast of me as a young Sirius Black. And honestly, if I had to pick one that people would associate me with, that would be the character I picked anyway. So that makes me feel really good. That's pretty wholesome. But he also admitted that for years, he found it confusing. People asking him to sign Sirius Black fan art when he wasn't even remotely involved in the franchise. Now he sees it more as a badge of honor, a kind of long-running inside joke with the fandom. But here's where it gets complicated. Barnes has been upfront about the fact that talking about Harry Potter these days feels tricky. In his own words, "In the last few years, I found it a more difficult thing to talk about because there's obviously like a clash between some of the author's views on things and the way I see the world." That's about as diplomatic as you can get, but it shows the weight every actor has to carry when linked to this franchise now. So, will he actually play Sirius in the HBO reboot? Honestly, don't get your hopes up. By the time Sirius shows up in Prisoner of Azkaban, HBO will probably be looking for someone younger, someone who can grow into the role across multiple seasons. Plus, Barnes himself even joked that he's approaching the age of regular Sirius Black, which makes it feel unlikely. But here's the thing. Fan casting isn't really about accuracy. It's about wish fulfillment. And for the fandom, Barnes is Sirius, even if he never steps foot on the actual set. The fact that he embraces that, instead of rolling his eyes at it, makes the fan cast even stronger. So prediction time. No, we probably won't see Ben Barnes in the HBO series. But don't be surprised if one day, during Comic-Con or an HBO special, we get a cheeky cameo or a wink to the fans who've been pushing this fan cast since the mid-2000s. That would be the ultimate crowd pleaser. So let's take a step back and look at the big picture. We've got a HogwartsExpress that looks almost exactly like the original, sparking debates about whether HBO is playing it too safe or preserving what works. We've got book-faithful scenes finally coming to life, like the wizarding world celebrating Voldemort's defeat and Vernon Dursley's bizarre run-in with Daedalus Diggle that could set the reboot apart right from episode 1. We've seen the royals turn up, with Prince Louis literally riding the Hogwarts Express, giving HBO the kind of wholesome publicity money can't buy. Meanwhile, the Rowling versus Emma Watson feud is proving impossible to ignore, reminding everyone that the reboot isn't just about nostalgia. It's unfolding under the shadow of controversy. And then there's the fandom side of things, like the Ben Barnes fancast that refuses to die, showing just how much fans want to dreamcast these roles even before HBO makes their decisions. Here's my takeaway. The Harry Potter reboot is shaping up to be way more than just a show. It's already a cultural event, a mix of leaks, royal cameos, social media battles, and fan wish lists. Whether you love or hate the idea, it's impossible to deny that the hype train, or should I say Hogwarts Express, has already left the station. But what do you think? Should HBO have redesigned the Hogwarts Express, or is keeping it classic the right move? Are you excited about those book-accurate scenes finally making it to screen? And do you think Rowling's ongoing feud with the original cast will affect how fans see the reboot? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I read them all, and I love hearing your takes. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next big leak or rumor. We've got years to go before the premiere in 2027, and if the news keeps coming this fast, it's going to be one wild ride. Until next time, peace.